Okay, today I'm going to cover multi-camera editing in Adobe Premiere as well as some advanced video editing techniques in Premiere. In this case, I have a music video that was shot with multiple cameras, and actually we did a music video twice with just 2 cameras, but I have actually 4 cameras. So what I want to do is I want to easily be able to cut between the different camera shots. Now, doing it by hand, what we used to, in Premiere is normally we would double click on it, open it up in source window up here, set some in and out points, and then drag it into timeline. Double click, that takes a lot of time, and it would be very hard to sync up multiple camera things that are already synced. So what we can do is something called multi-camera editing inside of Premiere. So let me start from scratch. So I'm going to start with a new project, and I'm going to give it a multi-camera 3. They keep changing. Again, when I'm choosing my new sequence inside of the Premiere window here, I'm going to choose whatever format the video's in. The video's in the old standard DV NTSC widescreen format. So that's what I'm going to choose under the presets here. So you should always choose what you think your video is. If you don't know what your video is, you can always right-click on your video and open it up in QuickTime. And once you open it up in QuickTime, you can go under View, or you go under Window Movie Inspector, and it'll tell you, like this clip that I just chose on there, it's DV 720 by 480. So this is actually in old square format, not even in widescreen right here. So it would actually tell you, you can get to that inside of QuickTime. So if you have a video footage on your computer and you're like, I have no idea what size it is or what format it's in, again, if you open it up in QuickTime, you can always go under Window Movie Inspector, and it'll actually tell you some information like how big it is, what is the frame rate, and all that stuff. So knowing that before you start in Adobe Premiere is important. I know since I shot this is in DV NTSC widescreen 48 kilohertz, so I'm just going to hit OK for that. It's going to open it up in Premiere. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to import my clips. I have 4 clips, and so I'm going to click on one, shift, and click on all of them, and then import them. So what I'm going to do now is if you think about it, since this was shot with multiple cameras, what you want to do is be able to sync them up. Usually you can sync them up by using the clapper. There might be a little clapper that you see when they're making movies. It has like color information, scene number, and all that stuff, and then they clap it. And the reason why they clap it is so that when they're trying to put it together into multi-camera, like we're trying to do here, is that the video can all sync up. The problem right now, though, is I didn't use the clapper kind of thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch each video, and I'm going to wait for the singer to say a certain word, and I'm going to sync each video up to the word that he says. So again, I'm going to double click on there, and I've already done this, so it's already here. I'm going to be putting a marker into the source window here. You have the ability inside of Premiere to put in what's called markers, and markers are like invisible spots within the video. You don't see the marker on the screen, but it's a time point that you can put in. So you can watch the video, and to put a marker in, there's a couple ways of doing it. You can either go under the marker pull down menu and say Add Marker. That makes a simple marker right there, or you can put a marker option in the source window down here, or in the window right here inside of Premiere by and if you don't see the marker setting, which I have here, you can always change the options inside of Premiere here. I'm using Premiere CS6 by using the add button right here. There's one called Button Editor. If you click on that, you can actually add, and I added the one that says marker down here to my option. Just simply drag it from here down to here, and it'll be now down in one of the options down here. So the key here is to make a marker, is to listen to your video. In the music, he says a certain word, 1. So when he says 1, I'm going to hit the marker right here, and it puts this little green bar right there. So I'm going to go and do that for each of my videos. You can see I've already done that, but again, you can just listen to the video. Boom, and hit the marker. So I just basically listened and set the marker for each one. Once I'm done doing that, you have them pretty much synced together. What we're going to do is we're going to do what's called multi-camera editing. And how the multi-camera editing works is you're going to make a timeline or a sequence right here that has all the clips kind of combined together, and then we'll be able to cut between one clip and the other clip. But before we do that, what I want to do is I'm going to sync. The problem is they all have audio on each one of these videos. So if you listen to it, you got this audio, and then we got this audio, and then we got this audio, and then we got this audio. Okay, so you have 4 different audios, and they're kind of synced up, but the problem is some are not as good as the other ones. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn the volume down on 3 of them and leave the volume up on 1 of them, so that we're only using 1 sound for the project. So how you can do that inside of Premiere is you can click on a clip, right click on it in the project window here, and I haven't really found a way to unlink it. I can unlink it in the timeline over here, but I can't really unlink it here in the project window. So what I can do is I can go to the gain for that audio, and I'm going to click on the gain, and I'm going to set the gain to all the way down to nothing, which would be like 97, minus 97 or something. I'm just going to drag over the number here till I get it all the way minus 96. So again, this is the normal editing that you can do inside of Premiere by setting and dragging your cursor over top of a number. I'm just going to drag it all the way down to minus 96. So that audio was totally gone. Again, I'm going to click on another one, and I'm going to go into the audio gain. Right click and go to audio gain, and I'm going to set it to all the way down to 0 there. Again, you can just drag over the numbers inside of here and set it down to nothing. And then this one, I'm going to do the same thing, audio gain. I'm going to set it all the way down to negative numbers here. There we go. So no audio on any of these, and I'm going to leave number 3 with some audio. So after I've done that already, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sync up all these into what's called a multi-camera sequence. And to do that, I'm going to click on all the videos. I'm going to hold the shift key down and select them all. Once I've selected them all, I can then go and right click on it in the sequence settings here and say create multi-camera source sequence right here. It's called create. So right again, I select all the clips in the project window and go to where it says create multi-camera source sequence right here. And it's going to ask me how I want to sync these sequences up. Now, of course, you can set it in point, and so if you had a video with they're all set at the same in point, that would be fine, or the same out point, or if there's a time code that was synced up, that might be fine. Again, these are I did not shoot these all at the same time. They're all kind of random time codes, so that's not going to work. But I did sync up a marker in it where it says unnamed marker, which they all have a marker right there, which I didn't name. I'm going to hit OK, and it'll make a sequence of all of them synced up to that one marker. The next thing I'm going to do is then I'm going to right-click on that sequence I just made and say New Sequence from Clip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new sequence. So again, right-click on it and say New Sequence from Clip. It makes a new sequence, and you can see it kind of here in the timeline. It's basically showing me one camera angle right now, but we're going to learn how to edit this one kind of timeline here so that it is multi-camera. So again, it looks like one, but it will be multiple ones once we start editing. So you can see it right now. Now to get the audio back, so because I do want the audio back in there, because right now if we just play it, you can't hear nothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the one that still has the audio on it, which is this one, number 3, and I'm going to put it into the timeline, and I'm going to delete the video but keep the audio. So again, I'm going to take this one that still has audio in it, I'm going to drag it into the timeline, above the other one, of course, and I'm going to right-click on that, and I'm going to unlink it, which would then unlink the audio and video together. Then I'm going to delete the video part, so I just have the audio down here. And it should still be in sync because it was in sync before with the marker right there. So right where this marker is right here in this new audio portion that I have, he should be saying 1 right there. Let's see. He does. Okay, so we're almost ready to do our multi-camera editing. Let me review a little bit. Again, I set a marker for each one of the video clips. I selected them all and right-clicked and said multi-camera sequence. After I said multi-camera sequence, I made a new timeline or a new sequence from that multi-camera sequence. Then I dragged the audio in, I unlinked it, deleted the video, and kept the audio, and that's what we have, one audio file right now. So let's get started with the multi-camera editing. So the easiest way to do the multi-camera editing is to bring up the multi-camera editing window, which is this one. If you don't see it, it's under Window, Multi-Camera Monitor right here. And so how the multi-camera monitor works is it's like a sequence that you can see here. Okay, it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to record me clicking, and if you look here, you'll see I have all 4 cameras, 1, 2, 3, 4, in this window right here. So what I can do is I can play the video, and when I see the camera that I want, I just click on it. When I see the camera I want, I just click on it. When I see the camera I want, I just click on it. And what it'll do is it will record my clicking in this window. So how the multi-camera works is I'm going to start all the way at the very beginning. I'm going to put my timeline at the beginning. I'm going to hit this red button here that's recording. It will record me clicking in each one of these windows as I'm switching from camera to camera. That's this one right here. It's called record. If I hit the play button, it'll start playing the video, and of course the video is at the very beginning. You don't see anything that's really happening too much because there's some basic footage at the very beginning, but still we're getting close, we're getting close, we're getting close, we're getting close, we're getting close. So I'm going to kind of cut to a frame that I want to start with. I'm going to kind of start with this one right here where the guy's in the back here. And then I'm going to cut to the camera shooting towards the front. And him singing. Then I'm going to cut to the audience. And I'm going to cut to some dancers. And the story here of this music video is this drummer is falling for this girl in the audience, basically. Oh, there's a shaky one there. That's why we do this multi-camera editing. So we can cut that out. You'll see how we cut we're going to fix it after we do it. So basically go through and do your basic camera kind of shot that you want to do here. Again, I'm just cutting from clip to clip. I don't like that shot. This one's better. And if you make a lot of mistakes that you can just simply redo this all the way from the beginning again. So you just hit this red button and just start all over again. Oh, there was a mistake there. So I'm not really looking at it very well here. But again, you get the idea, I hope. After you click, and you can do this real fast. This is the best way that you can do things like really quick kind of music video. You can go cut from one to the other, 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 real fast like this using this technique. Look at this, you can go really fast. You'll never be able to do that by hand without using this multi-camera editing technique. Look at this, I can go like this really fast between all the clips like this. Like you couldn't never do that, and you can see what it looks like right here. You can see how and again I'm going to start playing it, and let me move this window out of the way here for a moment. You can kind of see what it looks like in the timeline now. What it does is it cuts one to the other, to the other, to the other, so it's like splicing it up very quickly. And you can see if I hit the play button here in the timeline, and look how it's cutting like that, really fast like that. Trying to do that by hand would have been very difficult. So this might be a good, and it doesn't have to be just for music videos. I'm sure you can use this technique for many, many, many other different types of videos. So let's do some fine-tuning here. Again, you can see the video. There's some parts that I would like to fix inside here. If you want to fix it again, you can. If you want to start over, as simple as just drag the playhead back and just start doing it all over again. It'll start all over and redo the whole thing in the timeline for you, again in the multi-camera window here. But if you got it kind of close to what you want to do some fine-tuning. Like there was some earthquake part right here at the end of this one, I think, right here, where it's a little earthquake right here. So what I want to do is I'll keep the zoom in here of this guy right here. to about this part. So what I want to do is I want to change the in point of this clip. So you see there's an in point of this one, and I want to change the out point of this one. So in Premiere there's some fine-tune editing. There's one called the roll edit, the ripple edit, and things like that. So let me zoom in a little bit more. I'm going to get rid of this multi-camera window for a moment here. So again, you'll notice there's a part in the video where it's zooming into the drummer, and then all of a sudden it starts earthquaking towards the end here, and I don't want the earthquake there. So I want to kind of stop it here. Now I can't really use my tools. I could, you know, if you start pushing things around, the audio is going to get out of sync. So you don't want to push things around. You just want to change sort of the out point of this one in the in point of this one. So I'm going to use one called the roll edit tool. Okay, if you use the ripple edit tool, the problem with this is it's going to move the clips in the timeline. Watch what happens if I click on this and I go here. It shifted everything down, and and now this is all out of sync down here. So you don't want to use, at least for this editing, and I'll go over these tools again in a different video, but I'm just showing you them, introducing them to you right now. So the ripple edit is not going to help me right now, so I'm going to undo that. What I want is I want the roll edit. What the roll edit does, again, is I'm going to put it between the two clips here, and as I change the out point of this one, it's going to change the in point of this one. So if I click on this and I move it over here to before he starts earthquaking, what it does is it should have not moved anything in the timeline. Let me see if it did. Oh, it did. Why did it shift in the timeline? Let me try that again. Maybe it's not working right here. There we go. I think I had something selected. I had to click off first, somewhere there. Let's try it again. So again, this is the clip, the one I want, the roll edit tool. I'm going to put it between the two clips, and I'm going to drag over to where my timeline is. And what it does is it changes the in point of this one and the out point of that one. So now, as we zoom in on him, before the earthquake goes, we got to cut right now to something else. So this is the one I use mostly. It won't keep your things in sync. It's called the roll edit tool, and the slip tool would be very similar to that, but it's going to move the clips, the in point and the out point of a clip without moving it in the timeline. So that's those two that you might want to use. Okay, so let's say you went through and you edited all your video here. Basically, what I would do is before I make my movie, of course, I have all this black stuff at the very beginning. Kind of want to start right around here where the music starts. So if you click on it, look at it. Right there's where the music's starting. Let's see. Right there's where the music's starting. Right there. Right about there is where the music starts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually move this stuff around in the timeline here. So I'm going to kind of go all the way there. I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut that all the way, and let's zoom in a little bit here so we can see what we're doing here. So I'm going to cut the beginning of this out a little bit here. If I can get this clip to, there we go. I'm going to start right there. Oh, there's a little clip. There's a little clip right there from before. Let's delete that. Ah! Well, that's all right. We just deleted the audio. We don't really need that audio, do we? Let's see. Oh, we still got our video clip. That's fine. And then let's take the audio and go all the way to the beginning. And then let's select everything that's in the timeline, all of it. And let's move it all the way back to the very beginning. And so just remove the stuff that's at the beginning and start where you want. There you go. So you can, you know, chop around and move things around in the timeline. Just try and keep things in sync. That's the most important thing. So once you have your video, and I'm gonna kind of let me chop off the end here because I didn't go all the way to the end. I'm gonna kind of go here. So we'll stop the video right there. So let me pause this recording. Hopefully you get the idea of how to do the multi-camera editing and maybe some of the roll edit tools, and I'll go over these tools a little bit more in another video. Next I'm going to talk about compressing your video for putting it on YouTube or somewhere wherever you want to go. Okay, let's talk about compressing videos. I just got done showing the multi-camera editing, and so I want to take this video that I just made and put it online, or put it on a DVD, or put it somewhere. So the basics of compressing is, of course, changing the video to the best quality you can and putting it online. Probably the best is to keep the size the same, the frame rate the same, and everything the same as what you shot this. So this video probably is not the best to show this, so we might have to do something a little bit different. But let me just show you this one because this is an old style. Again, this is old video footage that is only in the DV format. It's not in high definition at this point. So in order to compress this, I have my sequence selected down here. I can go under File. Let me save first. Save my project. File, Export, and I'm going to go to Media. And in this case, again, this is in the normal DV format. And if I look at it, right now, if I wanted like an editing version that I could use later on and edit again, I would probably use the QuickTime format and use the standard DV NTSC widescreen right here. So if you're going to edit a video again, the best thing to do is just to leave it in the same format that you imported it at. So if I was going to use this footage that I just have and just edit again, I would leave it at the standard format, QuickTime in this case, at the DV widescreen right there. But if I'm going to convert it or put it on YouTube, I'm not going to use this format. I'm going to actually use the YouTube format. So to use the YouTube format, again, is underneath Format right here. I'm going to use the these are all the different compression options that you see here. And I'll go over these again in a different video in a lot more detail, but today I just want to go over some basics for you. Of course, AAC is the audio format for Apple. AAC stands for Advanced Audio Codecs. AIF is uncompressed. So there's a variety of them. These are Adobe ones right here. The most standard one that I would use would be the H.264. That's the one that we pretty much use everything for today. It is a type of MPEG compression that is what YouTube uses. So if I was going to take this video and put it on YouTube, again, I would use the H.264 right there. Then under the presets right here, I would click on that, and again, you could see this format is for everything from Android tablets to the Apple iPad. I tend to take and put all my videos on YouTube, so I'm just going to use the standard YouTube widescreen format. So again, I'm going to go down to here, YouTube down here towards the bottom, and we're going to use the YouTube SD widescreen 29.7, the very last one here, because that's the format. It's the YouTube standard 48 is the dimensions of the frame. Basically, it's 48 pixels high. It's widescreen, and it's running at 29.97 frames per second. So this is probably the best option that I would use, and then I would probably just give it a name. This is going to be music video editing. And the settings that you have down here, I'm going to leave default. I'll go over these a little bit more in detail a little bit later about the different sizes, different frame rates you would want to set. But this is probably going to give me the best quality for YouTube right now, using and keeping the standard size the same. I think that's the important thing. And then when you hit export, it'll then go and compress your video appropriately for YouTube. Let me show you another compression option. Again, the first one I was showing you was kind of DV. Now this is some high definition footage. Again, I chose, when I was making a new sequence here, I chose the appropriate sequence for this video footage. This video is using the full 1920 by 1080 frame size. It's using 29.97 frame rate. It's using 1 pixel, and so on. So making sure you choose the appropriate one. Again, you should know what your camera is shooting and choose the appropriate one here. You can even look on the Adobe website which one you're using there. Again, I have this video clip. It's kind of just these ants crawling. You might have seen it before. So usually what I do is I kind of speed this up a little bit and put some crazy music on it, so they look like they're crawling around. So what I want to do is I'm just going to have it start in a certain spot, go to a certain spot, and then I'm going to put it in the timeline. And I wanted just to show you the rate stretch tool. So right now this is like 8 minutes long. Woo! It's going to take forever for these ants to finish building their nest. So usually what I would do is speed this up a little bit. Now you can change the speed. I think I showed you the speeding in another video. If I right click on it, I can go to speed and duration, and then I can put a number in there. And of course higher number will be faster, lower number will be slower. What I want to do though this time is I'm going to get some little audio going here. Just a little bit of audio going here. If I can hear. And we got some audio here. So you got some birds twerping away here. So I'm just going to choose a little bit of this, maybe, I don't know. I was hoping to choose just a little bit of this time, and then let's put this in the timeline. Now it's hard to select audio and drag it in there, so I'm going to kind of put it at the very end. I'm going to use my insert option, and then I'm going to then put it into one of the audio channels down below here. So I have some audio. It's a little low. I might want to increase the volume. You can increase the volume by opening up that little triangle here inside of Premiere and then dragging the little yellow bar up. That'll increase the gain, and so that we can hear it. I'm going to turn the audio off of the ants because I don't want that audio. And again, we can listen to what we got. We got some sound going here. Now, of course, I just want the video of the sound of the birds going. So what I'm going to do is this is where I would use what we call the rate stretch tool. That's this one right here. I was going over the roll edit earlier. If I click on the rate stretch tool, I can grab the end of it and drag it down. Now what it's doing is it's not changing the length of the video. What it's doing is it's changing the speed of the video, and I'm going to change the speed of the video to match the audio. So I have my audio here, and now the animals they'll be going a lot faster now, with the sounds of the Colombian jungle in the background behind them. And so what I really wanted to talk about was how to compress this. So again, I have some footage in my timeline. I have chosen a high definition right here. So how can I put this on YouTube and make it look good? Well, the best way to put it on YouTube and make it look good is to compress it in the appropriate format for YouTube. In this case, this is high definition. It's not 4K. It's just high definition. I know 4K can now be put on YouTube. This is normal high definition 1920 by 1080 size. So after I've finished my video, I can go underneath File, Export again, and I'm going to go into Media. And in this case, I'm going to choose my format inside the export window here is the H.264. Again, is the YouTube format. Then down here where it says presets, I'm going to choose that. Now, my last one I was showing you was the actual standard video. Since we're using high definition now, I'm going to go down to where it says YouTube, and I'm going to use the 1080p 29.97. So, using the appropriate size here, and the reason why is I went to YouTube high definition, the 1080p is basically the full frame high definition. The 720 is kind of a lower version of high definition, so I tend to use the one that's matching my video. And I'm going to kind of leave the default there. I'm not going to change my frame rate. I'm not going to talk about the bit rate yet. We'll go into more detail about the bit rate. But choosing these settings, you can see it's going to be a big file, but it'll even further compress it when we put it on YouTube. So let me give this a name. This is ants with sounds, and let me put that on the desktop, and then I'll show you those samples.